Hello, I'm joining you from Shusha, where today the first Azerbaijan-Türkiye Think Tank Forum has just now concluded. And in the building behind Shusha Hotel now, in one of its private rooms currently, participants of this inaugural forum, inaugural Think Tank Forum, are actually now having a private exchange discussing the outcomes of the three panel discussions, as a result of which, as we understand, some sort of proposals may emerge and probably will emerge, and those proposals will be communicated to their governments of Turkey and Azerbaijan. After all, think tanks are not making decisions as such, but they're preparing decisions for their respective governments. That has been at the very heart of any think tank anywhere in the world. Today was a very interesting day. It was a one-day event, three panel discussions. I was moderating the very first one, where the key subject matter was the question related to foreign policy lines pursued by Baku and Ankara, the points of convergence between them, which are absolutely palpable, and they lie naturally at the heart of treaty-bound strategic alliance between Baku and Ankara, and also, of course, certain points which are less palpable and not as simple as they may appear. Naturally, in addition to the bilateral interaction between Azerbaijan and Turkey, which is multidimensional, multifaceted, which are based on the number of elements, including defense cooperation, trade, and so forth, including energy element at the heart of them. Of course, these two countries are coordinating their efforts in different parts of the world, in the Middle East, in Central Asia, in relation to many complicated matters. Naturally, Azerbaijan's inclusion within the Central Asian format and Central Asia 5+1 becoming effectively Central Asia 6 is a very important moment in the context of the Baku-Ankara ties. Effectively, this is essential also in the context of growing importance of Organisation of Turkic States, where Baku and Ankara cooperate, and without their cooperation, without a proper connection and coordination between these two countries, naturally the prospects of that organization will not be as bright as they should be in the light of the proper developments. Naturally, Middle East was one of the key areas, and during my panel there was a discussion surrounding the coordination between Ankara and Baku in relation to Iraq in particular and Syria in particular after December 2024. The question of the Palestine has emerged as well, and naturally Iran was one of the subjects, and the question to what extent actually Azerbaijan and Iran, which are actually developing their relations, they're trying to improve their relations, could achieve a degree of affinity necessary for their growth of trade, was one of the subjects. It was a wide-ranging discussion. A number of issues has been, of course, naturally discussed. Azerbaijan and Turkey are allies. Shusha Declaration is very clear. A Shusha Declaration is an international treaty, but it does not necessarily mean that Baku and Ankara share the same perspective in the same fashion in relation to everything. Within the framework of this, what parties like to describe as a brotherly allied interaction, there are certain nuances, there are certain differences, but of course they are naturally regulated as a result of proper coordination. The question of Armenia, the peace process between Azerbaijan and Armenia, naturally its correlation with Turkish-Armenian normalisation have also been discussed as one of the key points. Elections in Armenia, which is set to take place in June of this year, was one of the key points. And there is a question, of course, if that election does not result in current incumbent Prime Minister winning the elections, defeating his detractors, what will be the implications for Azerbaijani-Armenian peace process? What will be the implication for Azerbaijani Turkish-Armenian normalisation? All of these things, of course, have been at the heart of discussions. As I said earlier, it was a very wide-ranging discussion. Think tanks are not there to make decisions on behalf of governments, but rather prepare quality decisions, or rather prepare foundational basis, argumentation for those decisions by those governments to be taken. And this forum, of course, was not different in that particular respect. Well, that's all for now. Orkhan Amashov, AnewZ.